Hey folks, Matt from Art of the Image. Going to work on a file in Lightroom tonight, a raw file, and we are going to push the recovery as much as possible. So what we're basically going to do here is show you how to get the maximum recovery for highlights out of a file. So this was a room where I had some shadow and a lot of sun coming in the windows and a light on, and so it was a little tricky. And actually, I shot this one a little hot too, just to show you how we do this here. And basically, we've got an old organ here. So what I'm going to do first off, I'm going to come over to my exposure. I'm going to drop it down to -2 here. I'm not really going to worry about my window over here. Actually, I'm going to come down all the way to -2.5, and I'm not worried about the window, but I'm going to try and get the light as much as possible here. And I'm going to pull my recovery right over to 100. Now, I don't always use the recovery, but on this file, I shouldn't say I don't always use the recovery to 100, but on this file, just for the sake of showing you the maximum type of highlight recovery you can get here, that's the way we're going to work it. So I've got the exposure down to -250. I've got the recovery up to 100. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my fill light up to, let's say, about 75. And then I'm going to bring my brightness up right until I'm starting to nudge that right histogram over here. You see this? I want to bring this up to pretty close to the edge. So it's probably going to be about 95. It looks good there. Now we're going to go back to fill light, and we're going to pull the fill light back down. And actually what I'm going to do here, so I'm going to back off the brightness a bit there. We're going to back off the brightness to maybe 65, I think. And we're going to bring in our fill here like that. And we're still retaining detail now in the lights. I've actually got the fill to 100. Now what I'm going to do is bump up my blacks to compensate for the fill we've used. And so we're going to pull that up there like that. And we're up to about 64, 65 here, and I want to get the contrast back, so that looks good. I'm going to bring my clarity up probably to about 35 or so. That looks pretty good right there, and I'm starting to think that maybe we've got a little too much blacks, so I'm going to back off a little bit there and put that at about 45. That looks pretty good right there, and we might actually want to bump up our brightness. Let's see how this looks here. Let's take the brightness to 75. That looks pretty good. And I'm going to bring in the contrast a little too, say 35 or so. And there we go. We've got the file here. We've retained the highlights up here and here. And if I take you back into the history, we go back to when this was imported. There it is. And you can see it's all overexposed and blown out here. And then there's our fixed file. We've got some nice highlights showing here in the lighting. We could see some detail still in the sheet music. The window's blown, but I knew that was going to happen. That's fine. I don't mind that. And I'm pretty happy with the way this looks right now. So basically that's what you want to do. You want to bring your exposure down as much as possible. I say -2.5 is about as much as you want to go in Lightroom. You can go 3, but you'll start to notice on most files it's going to degrade a bit. Bring your fill light up and bring your brightness up and play with those, and then you're going to want to tweak your contrast like we did here. So that's some pretty high highlight recovery, no pun intended. So we've recovered a lot of the highlights here and recovered an overexposure to a large degree. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Stay tuned. We'll have some more Lightroom 3 tutorials coming up, and some more video posts, some more articles. We'll keep you up to date with what's going on in the world of photography. Thanks a lot.